Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Astrological Intentions. I'm your host, Alex Reevy, along with the courtship chronicle herself, Sandy Reevy. Say hi.
Oh my gosh. Are you really saying that here?
Absolutely.
I'm embarrassed, but I'm into it.
It is episode 216, September 12th. Let's get right into it. In the transits, we have Friday, September 16th, Venus square Mars.
Great debate.
Friday, September 16th, Sun opposed Neptune retrograde.
Lollygag.
Sunday, September 18th, Mercury retrograde opposed Jupiter retrograde.
Retract Opinion.
And Sun trine Pluto retrograde.
Authoritative Leader.
Then in Talisman time, Sandy has finished up 3 talismans along with 2 upcoming to experience all the pleasures of life and to receive support from my family. Then on the horizon, we have our Manifestation by Design event happening September 27th through the 29th in Scottsdale, Arizona. Also, the Venus Star Point Talisman Workshop on the horizon for October 22nd. And in our house, there is a very new update on our website that we're very excited to share with you. So stay tuned.
Even say it.
So stay tuned for this episode of Astrological Intentions.
I say go do you. Now travel far, share your stories and earn your scars. It's you. Say you are the one you will answer to when this life is done. Don't waste a minute, jump in the river. Wash yourself clean so you can deliver you. The story of you, the story.
Hello, Courtship Chronicle.
Yeah, I was drawn to, it's on the Peacock series or network.
Right.
Which I never go to, but I have a professional interest in that show, actually. We'll just say it. We'll just say that.
And it's The Courtship, which is a new reality dating show that is all about the old English
Yeah, the 18th
era.
century. Yeah.
Right. So cool. I mean, I will say that
Or the
it's
19th century.
after watching the
1800s,
after watching the first episode, it's just classy and I like it because that is something that I feel is missed in all other dating shows.
I'm on session or season 1, obviously. They just filmed episode 11
out of 12.
So you just started 1 today, and
yeah, it's so interesting. I love it.
I wouldn't have known about it unless I had a professional interest in it. And now I am connected. I'm caught because I really love this time period. And you learn so much about it. Mm-hmm. And it's very chivalrous.
Yes.
Yes.
So let's go direct to all of our listeners. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast, engaging with us, emailing us, and giving us those 5-star reviews. I did receive a 5-star review from an anonymous source.
Ooh.
And they say, very informative and helped me better understand my chart and placements. They're discussing an astrology reading with you, as well as what areas of my life I need to start focusing on. This helped me find some hope and light at the end of the current tunnel. So that is, it's such a great aspect of astrology to know that even though we can remind ourselves over and over again that everything is temporary, you know, like the suffering is temporary, the challenges are temporary, the happiness is temporary.
It'll change.
It'll always change. But I think one great thing that comes from astrology is just knowing and seeing, looking forward and just knowing that the cycle is ending. So use it for what you can and do it now.
Right. I mean, we're both in a Saturn opposition, which is not the easiest portion of aspects. And it does, an opposition happens once every 30 years.
Right.
So it really has given ourselves, something to focus on, even though it's hard work.
Right.
So by doing that, we're both producing.
Yes.
Right. Interesting.
So let's move into the transits. We have a short week again this week, and we start off late in the week with Friday, September 16th, Venus square Mars.
I call this the great debate, and great debate, right? In other words, two people are having a discussion. Again, this is Venus and Mars are squaring up. So they're coming at from different angles.
Right.
Right. And so there's a lot to say here, but is it all important? And the reason why I say there's a lot to say here, because Venus is follow me here. Okay, Alex. Mm-hmm. Venus is in Virgo, ruled by Mercury.
Right.
Square Mars in Gemini, ruled by
Mercury.
And Mercury's retrograde.
Mm-hmm.
So there's this, chattiness, this mercurial, I need to get my opinion, my idea, my chat. I gotta express all this. Mm-hmm. But is it too much? It's going retrograde, right? So It's about a lot of internal things that you might be, that might not be important. So, things may be getting loud because of the square. And a lot of hand waving. Actually, that's hilarious. Before I read this, what I wrote, I'm over here looking at you, going.
A lot of hand motions are happening behind the scenes. I am doing hand motion. I'm like, Alex, look over here. Let's follow this.
Yeah. So it may get loud and lots of hand waving, but try not to point. Oh, did I point right there? That you could get your hand slapped. And it's a square. Mm-hmm. Somebody may not be liking what is being said. So use your words and be fair. Mm-hmm. Because the ruler of both of these is retrograde and it's in Libra. Mercury's in Libra. So there has to be this fair, even if you have to time it. Like you talk for a minute. Well, it kind of
sounds too like an eye for an eye, that because that Venus and Mars are kind of on those opposing sides a bit, maybe not in opposition, but in that square, not really understanding each other completely. Yeah. But with Mercury in the middle, kind of being the judge, it might be like you take a stab and you take a stab, this kind of like, and begin the fight.
Yeah. I mean, we got to play fair,
right? So you create the strides, you create those rules. So if you take an eye, you have to give an eye.
Right. Interesting. Mm-hmm. And when you say I know you're meaning the thing on your face, mm-hmm. but it can also mean I want it this way. And the other person says, I don't want to do it that way. Mm-hmm. So it could really be that I as well. Right?
Yeah.
And we have to be careful here too, because Venus right now is under the beams. So she's weak and she's in a placement of her fall. So she's not real strong or happy being in her fall here. So this will happen until December. So this is all of fall. This whole autumn period.
Right.
Now, this aspect doesn't happen the whole time, but she just doesn't have her typical,
charismatic
right now. Right. Yeah, mm-hmm. in this placement. Yeah.
So let's move on. Same day, Sun opposed Neptune retrograde.
Lollygagging
around.
So spend time aimlessly, to be idle. To fool around and waste time is dawdle. I literally did a little research on this because I thought my mom uses lollygag, mm-hmm. and I've used it too. And the fact that I don't know where it came from, we definitely know what it is. So I Googled it and found out that in that's interesting. The mid 19th century, which is where this courtship show that I'm watching is taking place, is the lollygag meant to fool around. Yep. A more illicit relationship in an appropriate waste of time. There were other words that they gave me. Garly-loo.
Interesting.
This is in Edinburgh. Was a warning call when dumping slops from the window. You would yell, Gardy-loo.
I've never heard of it, but okay, well, I'll look out next time I hear about that. Yeah.
Right? You're don't look up.
Right.
Run. Just run away from
the
building.
Get out of the way.
Get into the center.
Right.
There's another one here, dilly-dally, which we know is wasting of time by loitering or delaying. Have you ever heard of bumfuzzle?
No.
That means confused, perplexed, or flustered. So any of these
I am
words,
very bumfuzzled right now.
Any of these words is the Sun opposition Neptune of blah, what,
I feel like I'm in a Willy Wonka movie right now.
kind of that, because it is inspiring and very creative, but it's also like can be a big day of a waste of time. So do it with intention, do it with purpose.
Right.
Yeah.
And you can also make up words like bumfizzle.
Oh, that's very close to bumfuzzle.
Okay,
Very
maybe I didn't make it
creative.
up. All right, so let's move on to Sunday, September 18th. We have 2 transits. The first is Mercury retrograde opposed Jupiter retrograde.
Right. This is the second of 3 passes. We've already had this first one that came in September 2nd. So it was that weekend of Labor Day. And are you retracting any opinions, any ideas that you had?
Mm-hmm.
Because at this point, we want to temporarily fix something that came up from around September 2nd when they first met, because this is an opposition,
Mm-hmm.
or are you still searching for the route? You do have more time. The last aspect that these two make, because, Mercury's in retrograde, is on October 11th. So it really could have this. What I also wrote down here is that it's kind of the climax, da 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 da
Mm-hmm.
of the storyline. It's kind of like that cliffhanger when you're watching a show like we just did, and then you go, okay, and the next episode, and you just can't wait to get to it.
Yeah.
Right. So
We all know that feeling.
we kind of know that it's going to be a little bit of a twist and a turn and a cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm.
So it's this, are you retracting your opinion because there's a change up here?
Mm.
Yeah.
And also the same day, September 18th, Sun trine Pluto retrograde.
Yeah. It's a trine. So we already hear in the trine that this is harmonious energy and it's all in Earth. But it is with the transformer planet Pluto
Mm-hmm.
and authoritative leaders. Others, is this you being the authoritative leader, or are you looking to someone that has authority that needs to lead you through something?
Mm.
Where others can look to you to see your command, or are you looking for someone else to, run the roost or take over? But follow your own lead here. I do really like that you can, Sun is about self. And find the power within, right? Find your, it's not necessarily about going on a new route, but it's taking the lead. That's what I want to say. Like, take their hands and take a lead.
Okay.
It might be fun.
Right. And
Yeah.
I think, especially for people who don't necessarily jump into the leadership role, because I feel like there are personalities that just naturally flow into that location of just like, I'm going to take control, I'm going to take authority and be the leader here.
And I feel like I can do that, but I do sense the room. I understand what I have to understand the situation first, right? And
Before
just-
you take control.
Mhm.
And so I think for people that don't normally take control,
Mhm.
that would be a great challenge for them, just to grab someone's hand and be like, hey, I'm leading you. Because I'm also giving myself that challenge, because majority of the time, especially the way that I have been, I guess in a coaching atmosphere,
Mhm.
it's always a lot of questions, like leading questions, where I never really make that leadership role of we're doing this, period.
So you're going to practice that?
I'll try.
I mean, Sun makes a trine to Pluto twice a year. So this would be the week.
Okay.
Okay. Do it this week.
I'll do it.
You have from today till next week this time.
Perfect.
Everybody. And then write down, share with Alex.
Yeah. And unless there's anything else you want to share
No,
about this week, but it's a pretty short week, right?
Yeah. I mean, there are some, there's a retrograde thing going on. Venus being under the beams. She's not seen right now. So it's more of a demure kind of, that's why I say a great debate as we open up the weekend.
Yeah.
Coming up. So everything's happening Friday and Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll get our plans together.
Which we are. We're going to be at a wedding.
Right. So let's move into talisman times. You have finished 3 talismans. The first is to deepen one's principles and integrity, made September 7th.
I am a noble warrior, gifted with honors and riches. I provide victory to all who follow my lead.
Mm-hmm.
We all win. And this is an Aldebaran. We have Mars right up on the midheaven, right connected with the 9-degree Gemini Aldebaran, which proves victory and success.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a very, very rare. This is a rare piece.
I like this one. And let's move on to the next talisman, to find value in my neighborhood, September 10.
I set standards and attract abundance by being surrounded by those I live near. My neighbors provide security, peace, and understanding. And I really like this one. And when I wrote this, it just easily came to me. We got Saturn, the ruler of the chart, in the first in Saturn's own sign, where it's about setting standards.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what are the boundaries? You know, what are the boundaries of your property if we are saying neighborhood, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you attract, which is, you know, the Jupiter, because what we've got here is the moon making a conjunction to Jupiter. So, you know, we just had the full moon when the moon was in Pisces,
Mm-hmm.
and then the moon moved out of Pisces into Aries, making that conjunction to Jupiter, and that's the ruler of the second. The ruler of the second is in the third, so about having value in the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And to be quick-witted is the next talisman, September 11.
I quickly come to my answer. My ideas and messages fly out of my mouth and onto the paper. I move along speedily in all categories.
Okay.
So this is, I like this one because the moon is in Aries, making a sextile to Mars. And so there's a reception there, because Mars rules Aries, where the moon is, so that there's a nice, it's a sextile, but there's a nice opportunity to, you know, quicken thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so, this is a, you know, quick-witted.
Right.
You know, that's good for all types of expression.
Especially
and
if you want to be
thoughts.
funny.
Yeah.
Also, if you need to be a leader.
Yeah.
If you need to be, you know, more outspoken and in a public atmosphere. Let's move on to the upcoming talismans. We have 2 to discuss. The first is Tuesday, September 13th, to experience all the pleasures of life.
I attract all the worldly and material conveniences life has to offer me. My right hand is available to acquire these riches.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you might wonder why I said right hand. Because the moon is in the 3rd lunar mansion,
Mm-hmm.
at the top of the chart in the midheaven. And this 3rd lunar mansion is about a woman seated, raised with her right hand raised, as she is receiving something or, expecting something.
Right.
So this is really cool because the moon here at the midheaven in the 3rd lunar mansion, which is between 25 degrees of Aries and 8 degrees of Taurus, is making a trine to this Jupiter in the 2nd. And it's a night chart. This is to be done at 3 a.m. So really, night charts are, Venus is better in night charts.
Mm.
I mean, Venus is good in anyone's chart. But for it, and she's in fall here, so she really needs a little bit of assistance. So that's why we're using the 3rd lunar mansion, and we've put that at the top of the chart, and we're using a night chart.
Okay.
So this is this is like 2:59 a.m.
Okie dokie. So same day, you also have another talisman, to receive support from my family.
I happily accept reinforcement from my loved ones, my family members. They just seem to know I am in need of their backing. Again, we've got Aquarius, rising Saturn, retrograde in Aquarius in the first house. So that's what we call about the need of their backing, right? Saturn's got your back, right? Support. And the moon is exalted in Taurus, making a really nice trine to Venus. And Venus is the ruler of the fourth, and moon is in the fourth. So that has that whole family connotation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Also, don't forget we have our talisman of the month to enter a successful deal with a business partner. These talismans of the month are handpicked by Sandy. There is only one, and this one is talisman 1113. And all of these talismans of the month are specially discounted. And we don't normally like to use that word, but it's a gift from us. You're getting a portion of the final cost taken off, as well as a shipping credit towards whichever shipping you want. It normally covers the small first class mail. So check that out on the website, and you'll see a little something new, which we're going to discuss in our house. So let's move on to the horizon. September 27th through the 29th is the Manifestation by Design event Sandy will be at in Scottsdale, Arizona.
And I'm given a lunch discussion. So we're going to be doing some roundtables.
What's your topic?
About how talismans and how magic can make your dreams come true.
Ooh.
This whole Beth Davis, who I adore, she does really, she's a no nonsense type of a leader, but she gets things done and she gets to the bottom of things. Where I'm more the Pisces, where, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but she can get right in to the heart of the matter where you're just now, doing you're planning and figuring out the next step.
Right. Cuts through the excuses.
I support and what's the other word? I support and sponsor all of her events. God, probably for the last 6 years.
Yeah.
And so heading out to Scottsdale, and keep an eye out for our social media posts on that. There's a special offering a special price offer. It's really good.
Where? At the event?
Yeah, you can attend for tickets. For tickets, yeah.
Got you. Okay, so October 22nd, we have our Venus Star Point Talisman Workshop. If you are waiting for this, you just have to wait one more week, I swear. So it's happening October 22nd. This is going to be the Venus Star Point. This is what Sandy has been studying with the Venus Star Point creator herself, Ariel Gutman, and bringing to you a little bit of this really awesome material to learn a little bit about the 5 points of Venus, that 5-pointed star.
And this point is moving from what we've known for the last 100 years of the Scorpio Venus Star Point, and it is now moving for a 4-year period into Libra. And come on, folks, what do you think? Venus likes Libra, or does she like her detriment of Scorpio, where she's literally been at that point in time for 100 years? So she's going to pop out, and it really, what I believe, and Ariel does too, and the other practitioners, I think there's like 20, maybe 28 of us now around the world that see this really as more of this equality and especially female equality and relationship equality. And so, where everybody gets to be who they want to be or who they are. So really cool. I know we're going to get that up. We're doing a pair of earrings or a charm. And it is our second of our Venus. No, it's our second talisman webinar of the year.
Yes.
It's our first. Well, it's not really. Isn't that interesting? This will be our third
Venus Star Point.
We did a Venus Kazemi
right
in January webinar,
And you had briefly
I
mentioned.
didn't want to bring in because I hadn't gotten my certificate. I hadn't graduated yet. I was still in my, what do they call those exams? So I didn't bring that in, but I'm now legit permitted to bring in the Venus star point. So I'm going to be doing those every 9 months, every time Venus kisses the sun, whether she's in a superior conjunction or her inferior conjunction when she's retrograde. But she's always in these connections with the sun, kissing the sun and creating a dot at the innermost area of the petal or the outermost section of the petal. Very cool to know.
It turns out to be a really beautiful way
how that affects your chart.
Okay. Also, we have our 2023 retreats lineup happening. That's January in Mexico, April in Bali, and September in Amargos, Greece. So if you are interested...
Amargos Island.
Okay. Got it. And if you're interested in joining us for a retreat and you still have a few questions, remember that you can receive a free 15-minute reading and call with Sandy, asking any questions to see if this retreat is right for you. So I'm going to include that link in the description. Go ahead, schedule yourself. It is that free 15-minute call. I think finally we're going to jump into our house that was a quick episode. Where let's first just quick chat about our plans for next weekend.
Yes.
So we have a family wedding. It's my cousin, your nephew, and we are going to be bringing maybe a little bit of the courtship surprise into.
I didn't connect that.
Into this into the wedding festivities. We're not going to say too much about it now, but we're going to at least preface that we have a big surprise, because every single wedding you come in with a theme, a dance, some sort of performance that
my whole family does. And
you're pretty much the choreographer.
Oh, I'm everything.
You're the stage designer. Yeah. You're the cuer.
Talk about leader. I'm authoritative leader. I mean, my sister or my niece or somebody might say, well, what if we do it this way? Nope. It's already in my head. Just here, let me just explain what's in my head.
Right. And your vision.
This is only going to be like this song that I picked that I found a year and a half ago. Is 4 minutes long. So, dear Lord,
it'll be great.
There'll be 27 of us on stage doing a dance.
Something.
So much that my mom, since I've been doing this for the last several years, 8 years, I guess, my mom calls it a mosh pit.
Well, yeah.
I think it's so cute.
She doesn't understand the difference between a mosh pit and a flash mob.
Right.
So the mosh pit fun is pretty funny when you think about it.
But she calls it that. She tells her girlfriends, Sandy puts together a mosh pit and we just get all of our directions. And
if you know, it's pretty funny. If you've ever seen a mosh pit, it's very violent. It's very aggressive. People are like punching and wailing their arms around and pushing each other. But a flash mob, on the other hand, is kind of unsuspecting people in a place that all of a sudden this dance comes, very organically out of just speckles of people kind of joining in. So,
I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Song.
We'll return back here next week to talk more about it. So what I do want to talk about also in our house is there is a very new update to our website that I'm so excited to share with you all. And did you notice our new photography?
Okay, can I just say this? We are not done. We've got to get to working on it, but we did one whole page in a 3-hour period yesterday.
Right.
So it was a lot of teamwork. Now, I've been your mom for a long time.
Yeah, my whole life. Seems like my whole life.
About work, other than your podcast, astrology meditations, You were a little girl, giddy, excited yesterday.
Because these pictures look phenomenal. And I will give all the credit to Ash Branding, she actually started her career. Kind of career with us as an intern almost, I think, 12 years ago, maybe 11, 12 years ago. And since then, she's had a creative director position at a huge ad agency in Chicago. And now she's branched off and done her own thing. And it's so impressive because she is incredibly talented.
Yes.
I mean, if you need her to do an illustration, if you need her to do graphic design, photography, videography, even like voiceovers, she's got this beautiful, angelic, childlike voice that's just so alluring and calming.
Mm-hmm.
And so of course, she'll always, help us because we need the focus and the attention to these marketing details.
Well, she's a Gemini.
Yeah.
Right.
One of the greatest. And so I asked her to help us a little bit about the photography. So we had to collect all of the things, the lights,
this conglomerate setup over here in the corner by the window that
you think it's an abomination. But it's not bad.
But now that I see,
considering what we had before, right?
Now that I see, I'm like, I mean, maybe I'll put a dress on it or something so it's a little cuter. But that's a good idea.
I don't know about that. So anyway, the photography has really brightened up the images, the designs of the bracelets, the talismans. So we are just so incredibly thrilled to share it all with you. Head over to the website. You can click on any of the talisman links in the description and you'll get to see this sneak peek of what the website will be turning into. I think it's going to be really impressive for everyone because you're going to see many different shots of the bracelet as opposed to just one. And you'll also get to see it on either mine or Sandy's wrist and also the chart. So there's going to be so much more information and understanding about the talismans so that, it will make more sense and you'll be able to experience them a little bit truer.
I'm looking now.
So I think that's all for our episode today. Thank you everybody for listening. It really does excite us when we get to hear from you, hear your feedback, engage with us. So when you ever have any comments or just want to share a little something, you can head over to the review section and give us a review there, or you can email me, alex@intentionbeads.com. Again, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next week.
Bye, everyone.
I say go do you. Now travel far, share your stories and earn your scars. It's you. Say you are the one you will answer to when this life is done. Don't waste a minute, jump in the river. Wash yourself clean so you can deliver you. The story of you, the story of you. The story of you, the story.